Hey, folks, this is Grandison Shines. I'm here with Dustin Fickbaum at my top. Hopefully he's at your top. And Andrew Holcomb, CTO. Dustin is the CEO of the organization, and I am the Chief Marketing Officer. Thank you very much for attending this Blab conversation on the magic of marketing consulting. We have clients that we do consulting for. In fact, we do a lot of consulting, and we are just wanting to accentuate some of the points. We have clients we know who are thinking about hiring a marketing consultant, but they really want to understand what's entailed with the marketing consulting piece. Now, if you've ever done any kind of consulting, you know there are a lot of moving parts, or can be a lot of moving parts, but we're going to highlight some and accentuate some of the pertinent aspects of consulting that you should pay attention to when you're hiring a marketing consultant. So with that being said, gentlemen, thank you very much for being with me on this call. If we had to look at some of the things that you look for when you're hiring a marketing consultant, Drew, Dustin, pose this question to both of you guys, what would be some of the highlighted factors of what you should be looking for when you're hiring a marketing consultant?
Yeah, I would say some of the main, characteristics as a marketing consultant that you should look for are, how they mesh, how well you get along with the marketing consultant, because in order to pull off a successful marketing campaign, you and your consultant need to be working hand in glove very closely together. And let's face it, if you don't like each other, you don't get along, you don't see eye to eye, it's going to be difficult to work closely with each other and get successful results. So we found that sometimes we've had to change lead marketing consultants on a project because just it wasn't something technical that was going wrong. It was just the personality. Sometimes they just don't mesh. I think that's one of a major things that you need to look for when you're doing your interview process.
The personality fit has to be there.
Yeah.
You got the kids fighting, there's nothing going to get done, right?
That's right. That's right.
What do you think about that, Dustin? What say ye?
Yeah, I think Andrew hit it on the head. The most important thing, and sharing a vision or being able to come to an agreement on what that vision is moving forward. Without that, as we have seen ourselves with certain consultants and certain customers that we consulted, when there isn't a shared vision, then what ends up happening is a stalemate. They don't want to do the task that they should be doing, or we don't feel it's necessary to do the task that we should be doing. So there has to be a cohesion there. And that is tried and true over time with the consulting that we've done. When there isn't cohesion, that hand in glove that Andrew's talking about, it's a lot tougher to make progress for our clients.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that matches with that is, not just the personality fit, but the trust factor that goes along with that is, if you like somebody and your personality fits, you're more likely to trust them. And with, marketing consulting, as I'm sure with other consulting industries, trust is a huge factor in success.
Sure. I'll add to that with what you guys are saying. I totally agree with that. And I'll add drive also. There's two factors with drive, I think. One, the consultant has to be driven in order to continue to work with the client. So drive there and continue to perpetuate other tasks, other nuances of the project that will continue to get the desired results. And then two, from a driving standpoint, I think the consultant also has to be the driver at times, because then he has to make sure that there are certain intellectual properties that he or she may not have access to, but in order to drive he or she would have to then drive the internal customers per se in order to get the information he or she needs in order to have a successful marketing consulting deal. So drive, I think that's a two-way street. No pun intended. Most streets are, but so that's the drive on that has to definitely be there. So yeah, drive is key. What about experience and expertise? How does that fit into play?
Well, I think. Go ahead.
Drew. Go ahead, Drew.
Well, with experience, that's one of those things that I think is difficult to really understand when you're doing an interview process, because when you're interviewing somebody, everybody's going to say, hey, we have lots of experience and we have had lots of success. So I think that's tough to flush out. Obviously, you need to have experience in order to be successful, but I think that's one of the tougher ones to flush out. So asking poignant questions, so that you can find what their experience is. But I mean, every company is going to say, like we deal with a lot of realtors, and every realtor says, hey, we've got lots of experience.
Sure.
Every every marketing consultant's going to say we've had tons of success. So I think it's very, very important, but I think it's a hard thing to flush out in an interview.
So what's a good way to prove that then? To prove the experience?
I don't know if there is a good way to prove it, but I would just add to Drew's point. As he said, we have a lot of experience working with realtors, but I wouldn't necessarily look for experience in the field you're working in, because you might find that a new set of eyes is incredibly invaluable to the marketing consulting process.
Right.
We certainly have a lot of experience working with real estate and realtors in general, but we have found a lot of success in other areas, in other industries, in part because we don't look at it the same way as the business owner or somebody else who markets for mortgage companies. So experience doing marketing and marketing consulting is valuable, but I wouldn't necessarily say experience within your industry is always valuable.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, it can be valuable, but can also hurt. It can also hurt because, like you said, you're not looking for fresh ideas. You're not looking with fresh eyes. You've kind of come at it and say, oh, we've done this before. So sometimes finding a marketing consultant not in your industry, or who doesn't have tons of success in your industry, can be beneficial. And we've actually seen that in our own company, where we come into an industry and we are honest with the client and say, hey, we haven't marketed in your industry before, but we have great success with that project because we do have that unique approach, that fresh look, something that no one else has looked at before. It's you can't see the forest because of the trees kind of concept.
What Andrew's really trying to say is that we have Andrew, who has incredible technological ideas.
Well, obviously.
I think a portion of that also has to, or can be proven a couple different ways. One, with even referring a client that you consulted for, that's one way to definitely prove it. Clients ask us all the time, hey, who do we, can you recommend somebody? Absolutely. We give them the numbers and names of clients all the time, and they vouch for us. So that definitely helps us there. Number two is most seasoned consultants will come through with some sort of, we'll talk about this a little bit later in more detail. They'll come through in the organization with some sort of proven process that they've instituted in other organizations. Meaning that if we, like our marketing process, generate, capture, store, and nurture, right? I mean, that's something that should be, they should come through with some sort of process. So we'll accentuate on that later.